Jews that were killed by Nazis. Those are historic visuals there coming in on your screens right now. Joining me on the show is Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, former Indian diplomat, Middle East expert. Also with us is Major General Sanjay Soy, retired expert in defense and geopolitical happenings in the country. Also with us will be Pathikrit Payan, foreign affairs expert. Thank you very much, all of you, for taking time out. Ambassador, let me begin by asking you, this is a historic second visit of Prime Minister Modi to Israel, and the visuals, of course, on our screens right now coming from Yad Vashem, which is one of the biggest centers of remembrance for Holocaust victims. How important is this visit to the memorial itself for Prime Minister Modi?
Thank you for having me. I have myself visited Yad Vashem in 2004 and have vivid memories of the museum. It is not like any other museum. It's dimly lit and highly evocative in terms of the way 6 million victims, one by one, being screened on the dark walls in a semi-dark hall. It's almost ghastly in terms of the memory it invokes. It's also a pictorial setup where people in various parts of mostly Central Europe who were victims of Holocaust and final solution by the Nazis are remembered. Yad is actually the same word in Hindi, memories. Coming to Prime Minister's visit to Yad Vashem, it would be deeply sentimental for Israelis to have Indian Prime Minister visit the museum. It expresses a sentimental bond with the movement to have Israel being created, because the Jews were persecuted elsewhere and had no country to go to their own. So that is the basis of Zionism by Herzl. This was a movement in the later part of 19th century, which is central to the whole concept of Israel and migration of Jews from the rest of the world to Israel. Aliyah, it's called. Of course, there's a counter-narrative with regard to Palestine being an already occupied place with residents were Palestinians. It was not a land free to be taken for Jews in Europe. And the problem of Jewish persecution in the Occidental world was imposed on the Middle East. But then that is another story. At the moment, Yad Vashem remains very cornerstone of Israeli ethos at a social level, and the memories have been rekindled by October 7 incident, which echoed back to Israelis there being uh, sort of a cornered society with many people that wanted them exterminated. Thank you.
Absolutely. Major General, this is of course a historic second visit of Prime Minister Modi since his first visit, which in itself, opened the doors for an India-Israel partnership like never before. But I have to ask you, how strategic is this visit, given the heightened geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, given the other flashpoints that are currently a focus of concern, not just for India, but for the globe? In that context, how important is Prime Minister's visit to Israel?
In fact, Shweta, thank you so much for inviting me. I would say that, as you have rightly brought out, Prime Minister Modi was the first Prime Minister to visit India in 2017, and now there is a second visit. It shows the implications and the importance which India gives to the Israel, and definitely the base for this was already set by visit of Defense Secretary in December 25. So when the Prime Minister visits, a lot of things are already established, and in view of the present geopolitical situation, where India also faces the similar problems as Israel. On the one side, we have Pakistan, on the other side, we have China, and the Bangladesh is also had changed after change of government. The things were different. So a similar thing is with Israel also, where on the one side is Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthi, and Iran is there. So they also keep facing the similar problem of terrorism, similar problems of just sub borders. So our concerns are same, and in the Holocaust also, if we remember, in 1947 also, we also suffered a lot of casualties during the partition. In view of this, in the present situation, India is maintaining a very fine balance where we have visited, like when the highest honor has been given to the Prime Minister by the Israeli Knesset, and in 2017, similar highest honor was given by the PLO also. So on the one side, we are maintaining excellent relationship with other countries of Middle East, and at the same time, Israel is a trusted defense partner. Not now, right from so many years. I've seen since my younger days. We had a Searcher, Heron, then later on Barak, and the Falcon, AWACS. The number of things, missile system, weapon system, drones, UAVs were there from the Israel, and whenever there was a need, Israel always stood by India and supplied with the weapons and ammunition, and that's why. And I would say that it is not only Israel in the field of defense, in the agriculture, also drip irrigation, in the field of medical, the things are there. On the other side also, we are also helping Israel in development of infrastructure, whether it is a metro train or Haifa port. Indian companies are involved in development of infrastructure in Israel. Indian manpower are in large number in Israel in their reconstruction and different fields in the engineering, the medical side. So it is a win-win situation for both of us, and India is maintaining its stand of maintaining a balanced relationship between Israel and other Middle East countries. Shweta.
Absolutely, and I think that balance is quite clear. I think Indian Prime Minister, from whichever spectrum of the politics one comes from, accords the respect of not just his Palestinian counterparts, but also his Israeli counterparts. I think one of the rare show of leadership here coming from India, where a Prime Minister can pick up a phone, call up the Israeli Prime Minister, but also speak to the Palestinian side as well as stand up for Palestine. I think we've tried to maintain that very, very fine balance when it comes to our foreign policy. Pathikrit Pine, talking about foreign policy. As I mentioned, there is a lot of annotation and background to this visit. This visit is also coming at a time when we are looking at tensions brewing in West Asia once again. But apart from that, let's talk about the two countries on what they can achieve strategically together. Israel is, of course, one of our bigger defense partners, but there's also possibility of partnerships deepening in other aspects, including AI, water management, and infrastructure collaboration. So there are a variety of sectors where possibly India and Israel can partner further.
Well, you're right. In the area of generic drug manufacturing, Israel is one of the pioneers. The biggest generic drug manufacturer is Teva, which is of Israeli origin. In areas of AI and semiconductors, where you see giant strides are being made by India in terms of ensuring that India becomes a major hub for both AI research and semiconductor manufacturing. There are a large number of niche Israeli companies as well who work extensively in these fields. And I foresee in the near future, you would see lots of Israeli companies also investing in this arena, especially in AI, because AI is not just probably about ChatGPT or Gemini. It is about application of AI, whether it is in aerospace or power sector, or whether it is telecom and other areas where the application-based innovations by the Israeli companies have always been well known. In areas of Atmanirbhar Bharat, of defense cooperation, we all know large number of weapon systems in India have an Israeli, footprint or of Israeli origin. Even, talk about air defense system, the LR-SAM and the MR-SAM are of Israeli origin. Our special forces use weapon systems made by Israelis. But let me also tell you another important aspect. Couple of days back, when the Prime Minister of Israel talked about Hexagon, a new kind of a security framework consisting of at least 6 countries. Why it is important? Number one, when we talk about the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, the origin of that would be somewhere in India, one of the ports in India, in the western borders, western coast. And then it goes to the transit area of Israel and that region, Middle East. And then the landing point will be somewhere in Eastern Europe. So the success of India-Europe free trade agreement pivots a lot on the success of India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. And the economic corridor itself will travel across Israel. And therefore, the statement by the Prime Minister of India, where he categorically condemned, number one, all kinds of terrorism. And he mentioned about the 7th October. That is important. And secondly, he is equally making it very clear that while India believes in the two-state theory, while India respects the aspirations of people of Palestine, he is also making it clear on behalf of India that Israel has equal right to exist, because there are countries in that region who want Israel to be exterminated. Another important aspect, that while we do have good relation with Iran, the INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, that would be another kind of an IMAC which will come from Russia across the Central Asian region through Iran via into India. While Iran is very important for us strategically, but I think by mentioning Hamas, Prime Minister mentioned Hamas yesterday. By mentioning Hamas, Prime Minister is making it clear that we have good relation both with Iran and Israel, but we are categorically against all kinds of non-state actors, and especially an organization like Hamas, which is funded by the Iranians, which is very clear. On the issue of Hamas, it is very clear that when it comes to Palestine, when it comes to aspirations of people of Palestine, India would always prefer the organization of Yasser Arafat, which is PLO, than the Hamas, because there is a strong possibility that these elements, whether the Hezbollah or the Hamas, will try to create problem in the IMAC corridor. So when it comes to trade, I foresee that in the near future, you might even have a free trade agreement between India and Israel. You might even have the UPI becoming popular in both the countries, applicable in both the countries, which means you can go to Israel and pay in the rupee currency. And I also foresee areas of cooperation which will go far beyond technology or defense, because there is a book called The Startup Nation. In proportion to the population, Israel has the largest number of startups in the world. And India, as a country which has today become has the third largest ecosystem for startups in the world, India realizes that if you have to create, employment and opportunities, economic opportunities for
Right.
1.5 billion people, entrepreneurship has to be a norm than an exception.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of experience of Israel in creating a startup ecosystem and environment, how big organizations, how Israeli aerospace industry, Israeli Defense Force actually fund the organizations to create niche technologies. I think there are areas of cooperation which goes beyond everything else. I remember last time when Prime Minister Modi went to Israel, there was a water system which was put up in Connaught Place, Rajiv Chowk, where it actually extracts the moisture from the air to create water.
That's
and
right.
you can drink that water. So there are areas of innovation.
Which is exactly what I was referring to. I think a larger collaboration there as far as water conservation is concerned. But perhaps that's also on the anvil. Gentlemen, I've completely run out of time on the show, but we of course are going to bring you back as we continue tracking Prime Minister's movement through the day today. It's the last leg of Prime Minister's visit to Israel. He was in Yad Vashem and he will be meeting later other leaders as well. We'll continue tracking all those details as Prime Minister moves to a historic second phase of India-Israel relationship, becoming the only Prime Minister of India to visit Israel twice. He is going to be having bilateral engagements with President Isaac Herzog as well in just a couple of minutes from now, and we'll be tracking those details as well. But moving on, in a first of its kind strong message to tech platforms, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, speaking at the DNP conclave in New Delhi, said that social media platforms must share revenue in a fair manner with content creators. He asserted that whether it is news professionals, conventional media organizations, creators from far-flung areas, influencers, professors and researchers disseminating their work online, all deserve equitable revenue sharing from the platform that hosts the content. The minister also underlined that platform must take responsibility for the content they host. He stressed that online safety of children as well as all citizens is the responsibility of these platforms. Issuing a clear warning, he said non-adherence to these principles would make the platforms accountable. And moving on, Delhi police arrived in the national capital with 3 accused Indian Youth Congress members arrested from Himachal Pradesh. The accused will first be taken to the crime branch office. From there, they will be produced in Patiala court. Earlier, a high-voltage drama unfolded between Shimla and Delhi police over the arrest of the 3 accused in shirtless protest at the AI Impact Summit in New Delhi. A jurisdictional clash between Himachal Pradesh and Delhi police escalated after Shimla police on Thursday stopped the Delhi police personnel midway on the NH5 while they were taking 3 arrested accused workers, including Saurav, Arbaz and Siddharth, under transit remand. The 3 are the residents of Amethi, Sultanpur and Rewa respectively. All of them had escaped and were hiding in Himachal Pradesh. According to Delhi police sources, of the 3 accused, 2 were present at the protest site while 1 was part of the conspiracy. The Delhi police was asked to join them in their investigation and had asked them to join them in their investigation as the FIR was registered. Shimla police told the Delhi police team that only 3 persons can move the 3 accused arrested. Remaining police personnel have to stay back to join the investigation. Listen in to what the Delhi police team replied.
दिखा रहे हैं शोगी से शोगी में फिर से
वो पहले वो कह रहे थे सीज किया है
वो है नहीं इनके पास ना कर नहीं सकते ना सर ऑलरेडी हमने जो चीज ऑलरेडी डीवीआर हमने सीज कर रखा है और आप उसके सस्पेशन पे कि डीवीआर चोरी हुआ है व्हिच वाज ऑलरेडी सीज्ड बाय अस हमने डॉक्यूमेंट सप्लाई कर रखा है आप उसको सर्च करने के लिए मेरी गाड़ी कैसे सीज कर सकते हो पॉसिबल नहीं सर
आप सभी लोग जा रहे हैं वापस
The Himachal Pradesh police detained 20 members of the Delhi police teams even after additional chief judicial magistrate granted transit remand for the 3 youth Congress activists. The Himachal Pradesh police had summoned the 3 for a fresh court appearance following their detention by the Delhi police from Shimla, which the state force deemed unauthorized for lacking prior notification. The situation became further complicated after Shimla police registered a case against Delhi police personnel, alleging that the 3 men had been forcibly taken from a resort earlier in the day. The Shimla police also took the seizure of one vehicle of the Delhi police, alleging that the vehicle contained a DVR occupied by Delhi police in the presence of an independent witness. The Shimla police alleged that these three accused were forcibly taken by the Delhi police, and the DVRs of the CCTV cameras at the resort where in fact the three accused were staying were taken without a memo or receipt by the Delhi police.
FIR दिखाता हूँ। एक मिनट सर, आप में दिखाते हैं, मीडिया के सामने कराते हैं। एक मिनट, इन्वेस्टिगेशन आप मीडिया के सामने कराते हैं। आप ट्रायल मीडिया करता है, एक पुलिस वाला बोल रही है। सर मैं सेइंग दिस, सर मैं ये नहीं कह रहा। एक मिनट, मैंने FIR ट्रायल लिया हूँ। सर एक मिनट, क्योंकि आप जो कर रहे हैं, मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा, मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ इन्वेस्टिगेशन में आपके ऊपर FIR दर्ज है, आप 3 बंदों को अगवा करने जा रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो ज्वाइन करिए इन्वेस्टिगेशन। मैं आपको इतनी सी बात बोल रहा हूँ, नहीं तो हम करवाएंगे, आपको करना तो पड़ेगा, आपको इन्वेस्टिगेशन ज्वाइन करनी पड़ेगी, उसे इतनी सी बात है।
The arrest of 3 youth Congress activists in connection with the AI Summit protest triggered a face-off between Himachal Pradesh police and the Delhi police in the wee hours of Thursday. The two state police forces engaged in an altercation over the arrest and the transit of the youth Congress activists linked to the shirtless protests at the AI Impact Summit in Delhi's Bharat Mandapam on February 20th. On Wednesday, a 20-member Delhi police was en route to the national capital with 3 youth Congress members in custody. However, the team was intercepted by the Himachal police, which registered a kidnapping case against the Delhi police personnel and detained their vehicles, alleging a procedural lapse in not notifying the local police before making an arrest. The Shimla police said that the case has been registered against 15 to 20 unknown people in plain clothes for forcibly taking 3 people staying in a resort at Rohru. The Shimla police further accused Delhi cops of taking CCTV installed in the resort without them giving any receipt. The high-voltage drama unfolded at the Shogi border near Shimla after an argument broke out between the personnel from both forces over the arrest and the transfer of the activists. Himachal authorities said that the activists could not be taken into state without transit remand from the